Operation Raise the Colours. I'm sure you've seen it by now. Something very significant is happening in England at the moment. Up and down the country, people are raising the English flag and the Union Jack. Now, they've all got their own reasons for doing it, but I want to bring a slightly different perspective. I see this as a Christian revival. So they may be patriots, they've all got their own reasons, I don't know why they're doing it. But I believe they're standing for and upholding Christian values. I only talk about things that I see directly in my life, and somebody's painted the St. George's cross on the roundabout at the end of my road, so I feel like I can talk about this. Now, why would somebody do that? Are they patriotically standing up for fish and chips? No, you wouldn't go out of your way to vandalise a roundabout for fish and chips. These are core values, they're core Christian values that people feel like we're losing in England. So I kind of saw this completely different to what people are talking about. The fact that it's the St. George's cross, the flag that's being raised, what does that represent? Okay, it represents England, but I had to kind of dig into this a little bit, and it's mainly Christians that watch my YouTube videos, so you might find this perspective interesting. The St. George's cross, obviously, it's from St. George, so I've done a bit of Googling. He was a soldier and he was martyred for his beliefs. So the kind of theme of today's video is going to be carrying your cross. So I'll just give you a quick Bible verse. This is Matthew chapter 16 verses 24 to 26. Then Jesus told his disciples, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul?" So I was just thinking, I've had this rebellious desire to kind of stand up for my own beliefs in the past. During the pandemic, around 2019, I did what I thought was right at the time. And I'm seeing people do that now. I'm getting like 2019 vibes. And I just thought, what does it take for somebody to want to paint a cross on a mini roundabout? If your life's good and everything's hunky-dory, as we'd say, you don't do that. So that is somebody carrying their cross. And I just find it interesting that it is literally St. George's cross. So that person who did that might not identify as a Christian, but they are upholding Christian values. They're using a Christian symbol. They're basically representing St. George. So St. George did exactly that. He carried his cross. He stood up for what he believed in, and they killed him for it. The same as the person raising the flag. In England, I find it quite interesting because my friend's dad is Italian, and he's always kind of representing Italy. Every car he's had's got a little Italian flag sticker on it. But in England, if you raise an English flag, that's a bit weird. You're like instantly a racist. It's very strange. But any other country, Jamaica, you see the flag everywhere. People are proud of it. So people are choosing all over the country to carry their cross, and it's literally raising a cross. It's raising a Christian symbol. So the St. George's cross became synonymous with the Crusades. Like, I've only Googled this quickly, so do your own research, but I find it's an interesting reason to delve into the history of the Christian faith. So England is a Christian country. It was founded on Christian values, and we kind of conquered a lot of the world with these Christian values. And the conclusion I've come to is people like living where there are Christian values in place. People like peace, they like charity, they like hospitals were invented by Christians, universities were invented by Christians. These things, they're nice to have. And recently, we've seen these Christian values and technologies being degraded in England. The National Health Service was brilliant before. Now you get worse quality treatment and you have to pay for it twice, because you pay for taxes and then you pay for your treatment. Before, you paid your tax and you got good treatment. I got refused braces. I clearly needed braces at the time, but they refused to do it. Another example would be you pay tax and you expect the roads to be built well, and you expect when you put your rubbish out for the waste clearance to take it away. You put rubbish out now, they put a sticker on it saying we're not taking it. So you pay tax. So what I'm saying is, people are carrying their cross, and they're doing it quite well in large numbers. So the problem is, and you might be able to relate to this, we are seeing these Christian values eroding around us. The things that we value and that make us patriotic and make us like living in the country that we belong to are disappearing. And it's because our government is no longer upholding Christian values. So it's society is saying, look, we like these Christian values. Our money is inflating out of control, so it means that the money's devaluing. So the cost of living crisis, all of these problems and the tension between different races, it's not because people are racist, it's because our own government is not being Christian towards its own people. So I don't like to get too political, so this one might be, a bit too much for some people, but this is me carrying my cross. I feel like I need to talk about this. So the conclusion I've come to is it's nice to live where Christian values are upheld. You feel safe and you're treated fairly. When your government stops upholding Christian values and starts prioritizing different things, the quality of your life as a person goes down. And people are seeing this en masse. Everybody's realizing, wait, I've got no money, I can't get the services I need, and there's tension between the people in my country, and I'm not even allowed to represent my own beliefs. Even just saying you're a Christian, saying you're English, you might get a bit of flack for that. So this is my invitation to carry your cross, and people are doing it all over the place. So I see this as patriotism, nationalism, but it's going to become, over the next few years, we'll see it becoming a huge Christian revival. And I think a lot of these patriots will revert back to Christianity. They'll realise, oh, this is what I'm standing up for. I'm not standing up for fish and chips. I'm not standing up for these trivial things. I'm standing up for what actually matters, the core beliefs. It's all in the Bible. Everything that works to live harmoniously in society, it's been eroded. And it's going to come back. And it's going to come back because people are going to carry their cross. They're going to represent and bring it back. So I've got another Bible verse, and this is to do with the government not upholding Christian values in our country. Proverbs 29 verse 4. By justice a king builds up the land, but he who exacts gifts tears it down. So I've seen clips of Queen Elizabeth talking in the Christmas speeches about her Christian values. She looks to God to guide her, and I find that very inspiring, and that's somebody you want to lead the country. And England flourished with Christian values. And then I've seen, I don't want to go too deep into it, but I haven't seen that being upheld more recently. And then there are other Bible verses about fair measures and not charging too much tax. So if you look around, we're getting charged tax, but the services that the tax money's for is not being rendered. So that's not Christian. That is not a Christian way to run a country. So this is systemically a problem from government. The people may be Christian to one another, but at a government level, these Christian values aren't being held. So a big mistake I made during 2019 was trying to fit in. Now, I had terrible social anxiety, so I wasn't ready to, go hard and really stand up for what I believed in. But I did what I thought was right, and I might lose some people, but I don't really care. It's time to carry the cross and talk about what matters. During the pandemic, I didn't wear a mask. I didn't get vaccinated because I didn't think it was right. Now, I get vaccinated or not, it doesn't matter, but I feel like you should have a choice. Forcibly injecting somebody with a medication they may not want or feel like they need, I didn't think was acceptable. Locking people down so that they couldn't leave their homes and not allowing them their own choice to risk whether this virus was going to affect them or not. You should have you should be able to make your own choices. So I didn't like the fact that choice was being taken away from us, and I carried my cross in the ways I saw fit. I wasn't very vocal about it, but I just did what I thought was right. And I attended an anti-lockdown protest in London, and there was zero coverage on it on the BBC, so I found that interesting. So the big mistake is fitting in. if you're going to see change in the world, you're going to have to go first and carry your cross. And that's what carry your cross means. It means standing up for your beliefs, and they're probably going to be Christian beliefs because they're the ones worth standing up for. You know, standing up for I support Arsenal or fish and chips is English. You're not going to die for that. There are certain things you're willing to die for. And I've been guilty of this. I try and fit in these videos, and this is me deciding not to do that this time. I might lose some subscribers. People might not resonate with what I'm talking about. So I encourage you, if you have a slight inclination, if you've got this niggling feeling that there's something you should be saying or something you should be doing, but you're not doing it because you're going to get resistance, or you're not going to fit in by doing it, I would encourage you to do it, because that's how positive change is made. You know, somebody has to go first, and the benefits of doing so were in that first Bible verse. For what will it profit a man if he gains the world but loses his soul? So the thing to be gained here is your soul. You can sleep at night knowing you did what was right. If you see some issues and you don't stand up for it, and then down the line your children pay the price for it, that's on you, you know, and you know this in your soul. So you get to sleep at night and retain your soul. And what you'll find is, in the beginning, you're the one painting. Now, it wasn't me that did this, but in the beginning, you're the one painting a St. George's cross on a mini roundabout. And the risk is you could get arrested. I'm guessing that's vandalism. You could get arrested and prosecuted for that. When it's just you, there's a lot of resistance and you feel alone. Give it a couple of years, English flags everywhere, Christian values are flourishing, we're financially better off because we've sorted some things out with the government. So that's my encouragement. That's what carry your cross means. Now, it doesn't have to be political. This has been quite a political video, but it's what's going on at the moment. But I can see it. I can see a wave of Christians coming back and standing up for, you know, what matters. So that's my encouragement today. Check out St. George, do some research and kind of learn his story and how it relates to the Crusades, and decide how you're going to carry your cross today. Hope that helps. Speak to you soon.